Hey guys, Aggie K, wealth therapist, and I'm trying this new angle with my desk in the background. How's this working? Aggie K, wealth therapist, welcome to the live stream today. Does things look kind of crooked? I might have to figure this out later. I wanted to hop on to talk today a little bit about proving energy and because this has come up with a few clients. Hey, Ro. This has come up with a few clients recently about this proving kind of energy, and that it's really, it can be a good energy to sort of get you going. It's kind of like could be a good place to start in terms of motivating yourself to get something done. Is to, you start with that proving energy that's like, I'm going to prove them wrong, or I'm going to, prove it to them that I can do it. And this can happen a lot in online business. It can happen a lot if there's like a negative person in your life in the past or the present. There can be a sense of finding motivation in that energy that is like, I'm going to prove them wrong. Now, here's what happens long term with that. Not fulfilling. Not fulfilling in the long term. In the long term, that motivation will wane because it can't fulfill you, because it's maybe not your desire, right? Hey, Dottie. It might not be your desire. Like, if what you're proving for is really for you and makes you happy, then it can absolutely be fulfilling to you, and that success can be a really positive thing for you and sustainable for you. However, if you're trying to prove someone else wrong, it can prove to be unsustainable and unfulfilling. It can just make you not happy. Right? It can be something that you're doing to prove something versus something that's really in your heart to do that fulfills you on a deep level. And it can really change the dynamic of the thing that you're trying to get, the goal or the desire or the thing that you want to manifest can shift when it's just for you. Right? The motivation can lessen. You can be like, I'm not sure I really want this. I might want it to prove someone else wrong, but I'm not sure I really want it just for me. So it requires a deeper level of honesty about why you're doing what you're doing, why you're choosing what you're choosing, when it's not just to prove somebody else wrong. Right? And the other kind of backlash to proving somebody else wrong or doing something out of that proving energy is that if you don't prove them wrong, you're playing into this subconscious cycle of whatever it is that you're trying to prove against them. Like whether it's you never finish anything, or you're never going to be a success, or whatever kind of critical stuff that might have come from the person that you're trying to prove wrong. You can't really make this a business. This is just a hobby. Truth, or we're just saying truth, not for them. Not F them, recalibrating to ensure what I do is for me, right? Not for them, exactly, right? So that you're not subconsciously like doing it for them to prove to them that this is for real, that you can make money, that you can be a success, right? Versus for them. It's not a sustainable thing. It's not something that can, I believe, can take you to massive success that doesn't burn you out, right? Because when it's aligned and it's healthy and it's for you and it really feeds you, then it'll keep you going and it'll keep you growing. Whereas the backlash to doing it, proving it against them is it's about them. It's not about you. Right? So you're giving it away from the get-go, and that can be like damaging, right? Because when you don't succeed and you don't prove them wrong, you enter into this cycle of them being criticized for whatever they said about you or they believed about you or the thing that you were trying to prove against them, which is, maybe you're not a success, or you don't take it seriously, or you're never going to get out of this hole or whatever, right? So that's the other part, is that you've internalized some stuff that isn't about you, that's about them. And that's the piece that needs to be turned around and get really honest. And if it's not your dream, like, it's okay to stop it right now and figure out what that is. and not keep doing, because there's a sense of just doing it in vain because you're doing it for somebody else. So it's going to be really hard to feel fulfilled no matter how much money you're making at it. And there's people who come to this, who are in my programs, who come to this, who make really good money, who are making six figures and don't feel fulfilled by it because there's a proving energy to it. There's a performance energy to it that isn't really true for them. And it's really hard to, some people are really good at just performing because they've spent their life doing that, for approval, for acceptance, for love, for enoughness. And that's freaking exhausting, right? At some point, you'll hit a point, whether it's an income ceiling or just a level of stress that you're under because you're trying to do something that's really not for you, that is going to lead you to a wall. So we want to get away from that wall before we hit that wall. Okay, so I want you to think about if there is proving energy going on for you, and to just examine that a little bit further and go see what's going on subconsciously. Like, am I trying to prove something to myself, to other people? If I don't do it, the capital E, exhausting. Yes, truth. So you want to take a look at what's going on there for you, and is it about them or is it about you, and how we can refocus that so it is about you, which means, there's work to be done there in terms of finding out what makes you happy and what makes you fulfilled and what makes you, and sometimes when we've been doing stuff, and I see this in the coaching world come up a lot, is that people be doing stuff because they feel like they went to this school and they did this thing, and so the natural next step is that they should do this, but they'd rather, be a stand-up comedian, or they'd rather, if they could just choose, walk dogs, or whatever the thing that makes them happy. Once we have the thing that makes you happy, we can work on your money mindset around, we can work on your money mindset in terms of then like growing your money mindset to fulfill the thing that you actually like to do. It's a lot harder to work on your money mindset when it's not even a thing you really are doing for you. You're doing it to prove something. So that's what I want you to think about today. Is there proving energy going on? Are you trying to show somebody up or show them that you can do it? And is that really helping you? Because when you get to a certain point, and it could be that it comes around, the sticking point might be around money or money mindset or income points or income limits or a sense of fulfillment, you need to take a step back and look at, why am I doing this, right? Because if it's not really for me, why am I pushing so hard to prove it to this person, which, the approval never ends. That's also we can internalize that never ending, like it'll never be enoughness, right? Which is what generally happens. That's how that manipulation kind of happens, because it's not our own bucket to fill, right? It's their insecurities, it's their lack of fulfillment, it's their not enoughness that we have absorbed. So we want to get rid of that, right? We want to get rid of that absorption and find our own, happiness in that, and be doing it for ourselves versus approving energy, right? It's also kind of like a bit of I think about kind of like a high school vibe, or like just a younger evolution of ourselves where we have something to prove when we're younger, where there's a lot of grown people who have accomplished a lot who still feel like they have something to prove, and you don't. Sometimes it's just about stepping back and being like, look, I've done all these things. I'm super proud of myself, and I'm, really accomplished, and get out of that trying to convince people, that you have something good to show, right? It's kind of like highlights the scarcity of enoughness within you in that proving energy, or that trying to convince energy, versus standing in your power, standing in your truth, and owning as much of that as possible. That's where the power comes from. It's a lot easier to find power in that place versus trying to force it in the proving. Hope that makes sense to you. If this resonates with you, please love, like, share with your network. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Aggie K, Wealth Therapist. We have PTP 2.0 starting October 15th, and the Unmastermind starting this month as well. Please reach out to me so we can do this good work together. Mwah! Love you guys. Have an awesome day.